Václav Klement, a checkbook dealer in 1894, couldn't find spare parts for the repair of his bicycle. He wrote a letter to German companies Seidel and Neumann, which produced bicycles. The Germans, who cannot understand the letter written in Czech, reply that if you want us to reply to you, write your message in the language we understand. Václav Klement, who is not satisfied with this answer and sees a big deficit in the bicycle industry, decides to open his own bicycle repair shop. Bicycle manufacturer Václav Laurin partners with him, as he has no technical knowledge. Václav Laurin and Václav Kelement, who opened their workshop in 1896, start to manufacture their own bicycles besides repairing bicycles. Václav Laurin and Václav Kelement decided to turn their passion into a career and to produce bicycles under the brand name Slavia. The new brand rapidly became synonymous with quality and innovation. L&K soon became the second largest producer of bicycles in Czech at the time. Later, the company, which saw great potential in the motorbike industry, bought the Werner Motorcycle Company of the Werner brothers, which had produced its first successful motorcycle the year before in 1898. The Werner brothers are the first to use the name motorcycle in the world. In Werner's motorcycle, the engine connected to the front of the can was dangerous as it made it difficult to control. Thereupon, the company works with engine specialist, German engineer Robert Bosch in 1899. It designed a safer and more efficient bike. A year later, the company started exporting in Europe, becoming the first motorcycle manufacturer in Central Europe. Laurin and Kelement, who saw great potential in the newly developing automobile sector in the following years, decided to focus on this field. The company produces its first automobile, the Voiturette A, in 1905, and it becomes the second Czech producer after Tatra. With this car, the company participates in races that were very popular at that time. In 1907, the Voiturette won the Brussels race with a record speed of 119 km per hour. After hiring 300 people, Laurin and Kelement start producing luxury sports cars. Success abroad is not delayed and vehicles are exported to England, Germany and Russia. Automobile production ceased during the First World War. Laurin and Kelement built bonfire trucks for the military. The company continues to manufacture cars and trucks after the war. As before the war, cars are sold worldwide. However, when we arrived in 1924, Laurin and Kelement were also greatly affected by the economic depression in the world. Also in the same year, a big fire in the factory inflicted heavy damage on the company. The company, that wants to survive, begins to look for a new partner. Founded in 1859, military arms manufacturer, Skoda is willing to buy the Laurin and Kelement Company. During One World War, Skoda became the largest supplier of the Austro-Hungarian army with 335,000 jobs. However, after the war, military weapons are no longer needed and the unpaid debts of the defeated empire put the company in a difficult position. Thereupon, Skoda decides to turn to different sectors such as automobiles, trains and trams. At the first step, Spanish company Hispano-Suiza cars begin to be produced under license at the Skoda plant. However, the company, which wants to bring its own design cars to the market, buys the Laurin and Kelement Company in 1925. The cars that come off the production line are put up for sale under the name Skoda. The winged arrow in the circle in the Skoda logo symbolizes vision, speed and progress. At the beginning of the 1930s, when the effects of the Great Depression waned, the company established a moving assembly and began mass-producing new model cars. In 1933, the Skoda 420 rolled off the production line. The small economy car with the 0.9-liter engine is loved by Czechs and Slovaks. In fact, the design of the vehicle is inspired by the domestic competitor board. The company, which wants to prove the durability of the vehicle, makes a journey of 15,000 kilometers with the 420 in Turkey, Syria, Afghanistan and India. 2 years later, the middle Skoda Rapid and Skoda Favorite also hit the market. The company, which wants to appeal to the consumer every year, also puts the most luxurious model, Skoda Superb, on sale in the same year. In the same year that Skoda put the Superb on sale, the domestic rival Tatra launched the Tatra 77, the world's first mass-produced car with aerodynamic design. The company starts producing the Skoda 935 Dynamic to compete with the Gold model. With these models that appeal to all audiences, Skoda surpasses domestic rivals Prague and Tatra and becomes Slovakia's leading manufacturer with a 39% market share. While all was going well for Skoda, two world wars began and in 1939 Germany occupied Czechoslovakia. The Germans take control of the Skoda factory and the factory begins to manufacture military vehicles and weapons for the Nazi army. For this reason, the factory was bombed repeatedly by England and America throughout the war. In the last bombardment in 1945, the Skoda factory was almost completely destroyed. The company rebuilds the factory destroyed in the war and starts automobile production again. The Skoda 1101 two-door, a modernized version of the pre-war model 120, comes off the production line. In 1948, Czechoslovakia came under the rule of the Soviet Union. The Skoda factory is taken away from the founders and completely under the control of the Soviet government. Production of Skoda 1101 and Skoda 1101 continues until 1960. Skoda Octavia also produced for senior government officials and military personnel. The air-conditioned armored vehicle weighs approximately 4 tons. In 1955, the factory discontinued the small class Skoda 444, replacing the Skoda 420. In 1959, the sedan was called the 440 Skoda Octavia, while the convertible coupe version was called the Felicia. Trade with the West was severely restricted until the death of Stalin in 1953. However, Skoda's export to abroad had not completely stopped. Towards the 1960s, trade with the West began to increase for products that the Soviets couldn't produce. As it was before the Soviet Union, Europe becomes a traditional market for Skoda. In fact, in 1960, the Skoda Felicia was put on the market in the American market, but its expensive price of $2,700, fuel consumption and technical problems remained at a low level. Meanwhile, Skoda had already begun work on a new model car for the new factory in the mid-1950s. The goal would be to develop a small, economical, fuel-efficient model that could be purchased by the large masses. At that time, European manufacturers were placing the engine at the back of the vehicle, as in NSU Prince, Renault Dolphin, and Volkswagen Beetle. With this layout, Skoda could design an economical model with light fuel economy. The company once again draws inspiration from Tatra's Tatra 33 for design. In 1964, Skoda starts rolling off 1000 MW production line. A 700 kg vehicle with a 1-liter engine will have 44 horsepower. It offers a comfortable ride with its independent suspension. The economical modern car is in great demand both in Czechoslovakia and in the European markets. It was cheaper than the 1000 MB Ford Cortina, which was sold in Europe for €579, with a selling price of €592. In addition, the Skoda 1000 MB and more equipped car, which offers more luggage space with its foldable rear seats with heater. The model sold 440,000 units in 5 years and marked a turning point in Skoda history. The vehicle is modernized as the Skoda 100 and Skoda 110 in 1969. The sports version Skoda 110R, reminiscent of the 1970 Porsche models, is also on sale. New models sell more than 1 million copies in 8 years. This growth was effective in the fact that the Soviets made more investments in the automobile sector to develop the economy in those years. In 1971, Skoda also tried out a sports car, and the Skoda 110 RS prototype appeared. However, the model never goes into mass production. Seeing the great potential in the commercial vehicle market, the company puts the Skoda 1003 Light Buffalo for sale in 1968. The company started to participate in rally races in 1960s to increase its prestige abroad. The rear-engine, lightweight, high-performance Skoda vehicles have won the Rock Rally in the 1300cc category for 17 years in a row. In the early 1970s, Skoda wanted to develop a front-engined, front-wheel drive car to replace the rear-engined 100, which began to fall behind the times but couldn't get the necessary permission and investment support from the Soviet method. In fact, it was not something the Russians wanted very much for Czechoslovakia to produce a much more modern car than other Soviet cars. The company thereupon is forced to modernize the 100-120 series. In 1976, the Skoda 105-120 starts rolling off the production line. Although the model is almost the same as the previous series inside the outer body, it has innovations such as front-mounted radiator with thermostat fan. The vehicle is also on sale in Europe and the Australian market. In Europe, however, manufacturers have already switched to front-engined, front-wheel drive cars instead of rear-engined models. For example, Volkswagen started to produce front-engined Volkswagen Golf and Volkswagen Passat instead of the rear-engined Beetle, which broke sales records. Skoda 105 and 120 lagging behind the time lags behind the competition with Volkswagen Golf, Opel Kadett, Ford Escort in Europe. In 1984, the models are modernized and the new Skoda 130 series goes on sale. The 4-door version is sold in the European market as Estel, and the coupe version is called Skoda Rapid. The Skoda Rapid is praised by critics for having Porsche handling. The new series is more competitive than the previous models and sales rise in the Western European market. In 1980s, the Soviet economy began to deteriorate and it needed much more money from the West. In Europe, Soviet cars Lada, Yogo and Skoda were the cheapest cars and the profit rate was very low. In the early 1980s, Skoda decides to develop a new, more popular car and works with the Italian design company Bertoni to design the vehicle. In 1987, the Skoda Fabia starts rolling off the production line. The model becomes Skoda's first front-engined front-wheel drive car in many years. In order to increase the quality, some engine technology is taken from European manufacturers. Fabia is simple in design and mechanical and has much more economical maintenance and repair costs than European models. The model becomes very popular in Czechoslovakia and the Eastern Bloc. Reaching good sales figures in the European market, the vehicle is put up for sale in Argentina, China, Israel, Russia, Turkey and other markets. Station wagon and pickup versions of the vehicle are also produced. In 1990, the Soviet bloc broke up and Czechoslovakia became an independent country. However, the country doesn't have sufficient budget to invest in the automobile sector. For this reason, it is decided to cooperate with Western companies in order to continue Skoda. Skoda is interested to cooperate with Renault, Volvo, Volkswagen, Ford, Fiat and Mercedes-Benz. Renault and Volkswagen make the most serious offers from these companies. Renault first proposes to end the production of Favorites and instead produce the outdated Renault 18 derivative and the new Renault Twingo models. When Skoda rejects this offer, Renault proposes to become a 40% partner and to produce Renault 19 in addition to the production of Favorites and to invest $5 billion in today's amount. Volkswagen Seat offers to continue the production of the Skoda brand and the Favorite, to become 130 partners and to invest $14 billion. Although the Czech government is on the Renault side, Skoda accepts the Volkswagen offer as it sees greater potential for the company's development. In the same year, Volkswagen buys 30% of Skoda. In 1995, this rate increases to 70%. In 1991, the Favorite is modernized with Volkswagen parts. Skoda returns to racing, winning the World Rally Championship in the 2-liter category in 1994. A new factory is built, equipped with the latest technologies, to produce high-quality cars with investments from Volkswagen. In 1994, the Favorite was replaced by the Skoda Felicia. The model is quite impressive compared to its period, with its equipment such as ABS, air conditioning, driver airbag. Felicia quality improvements make it a very good alternative in terms of price performance and sales increase rapidly in the European market. The vehicle sells 1.4 million units in 7 years. It marks a new turning point in the history of Volkswagen Skoda. The pickup version of the vehicle is on sale under the name Volkswagen Caddy. In 1996, the new model sedan Skoda Octavia is also put on sale. The vehicle is produced on the same platform as the Audi A3, Seat Leon and Volkswagen Jetta. In 1999, Felicia was replaced by Skoda Fabia. The vehicle is produced on the same platform as the Volkswagen Polo and Seat Ibiza. The factory, which is produced with German engineering and quality, is in great demand around the world. While small Skodas sell high, Skoda's Passat, Skoda Superb goes on sale in 2001. The annual production capacity, which was 172,000 in 1991, increases to 335,000 units in 2000. 82% of vehicles are sold in 72 countries. In the same year, Volkswagen buys all of Skoda. As the company builds a second factory, capacity and sales continue to increase with each passing year. In 2011, the company introduced the Volkswagen Up as the Skoda Stego with minor changes. The small model with a 1-liter engine achieves high sales figures. The company decides to launch a new model, which is between the Fabia and Octavia models. In 2012, the Skoda Rabbit is launched on the market. Skoda Kodiaq, which shares the same platform with Volkswagen Tiguan, the company that sees great potential in the SUV market, is put up for sale. This includes 1.2 million Skoda cars. In 2019, fully electric versions of the Stego will go on sale. In addition, the Skoda Enyaq iV, produced on the same platform as the Volkswagen ID.4 and Audi Q4 Tron, is also launched. Skoda, one of the oldest and most established automobile brands in the world, continues to sell in 100 countries today.
Last Duel is waiting for you every Sunday at exactly 7 o'clock. Which car history content do you want to be next? We welcome your comments. Nothing is faster than inspiring.